Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sam, and in today's video I wanted to do the beginning of the year book tag. I'm well aware that it is now mid-February as this is going up, but January was a trial run. We're just gonna start over and be fresh the month of February. I believe this was created by Larissa from Larry Reads, but I got these questions from the video that Emmy did, and I think I got them all. We'll see. I have 15 questions here that I just want to talk about. I think it would just be some fun just to chat about books and reading, just to spice it up, you know? I didn't do any preparation for this video aside from writing down the questions as I was watching Emmy's video. But other than that, we're just going to discuss my answers as they come up. I also have a tea today. I definitely need the caffeine. This is Santa's Secret by David's Tea, if anyone's wondering, and some almond milk foam on top. And it's perfect. So I want to make sure I drink it while it's still hot. I also got this mug from Winners, and I love it so much. Let's just get started with the first question, which is, how many books are you planning on reading in 2025? And I've set my Goodreads goal to 100 books again. I've done 100 books for, I can't remember if 2024 was the first year that I did 100 books, or if I've been doing 100 books since 2023. Either way, I'm doing it again. I feel like it's a goal that can be a bit challenging, but also for me and the amount of books that I've been reading in the past couple years is definitely easily attainable, and so I'm not stressing about it or anything. I definitely think that I'll be able to hit 100 books again because I usually hover around 10 books a month, and I also want to try to put less pressure on myself this year with reading. I really just want to read what I'm excited about and the books that I'm drawn to. I don't want to try to just read shorter books that I'm not super excited about just to try to reach a reading goal or anything. I don't want to be scared of the long books. I want to be reading the books that I just want to read. So I'm hoping to read 100 books again this year, hopefully more than that, but yeah, I just want to have fun this year. Question number 2 is a book that you're planning on rereading. I haven't really thought about doing any rereads this year. There's something that's really calling to me. I did realize that I only read The Throne of Glass in 2023, so am I due for a reread? I don't know. I absolutely love that series, and I would love to be back in that world, but it's definitely a big commitment. If we get any updates or anything from Sarah J. Maas about the next ACOTAR book, I might do a reread of those in preparation. But the only other thing that I've really been itching to get back into is Beach Read. I read this again, I think 2 years ago, had a great time with it. I didn't think that I was going to like it because I got it confused with another book, but I had a great time. I absolutely loved this book so much, and I would like to read it again because I had so much fun with it, and it was just such an easy, fun read. But other than that, I don't think there's any books that I'm really itching to do a reread of. I would love to prioritize rereads more in the future, but I still feel like I'm just behind in terms of reading all of the most popular books from even like early book talk days, and not in a way that's like, oh, I haven't read these books, I have no interest in them, but I feel like I have to read them. No, like I'm still interested in these books. I want to pick them up. I just haven't gotten a chance to because there's just so many books and so little time. Question number 3 is a priority read on your TBR. A couple weeks ago, I posted my video about the 25 books I wanted to read in 2025, which is definitely my priority TBR. Those are the books that I really want to get to this year. And of that list, the ones that I'm most excited about currently, I think, is the rest of the Belladonna series. I really enjoyed Belladonna, and I've just been itching to get my hands on the other 2 books and read them. Also on this list, Out on a Limb, I really want to get to. I know that Out of the Woods either just released or is releasing very soon as I'm filming this, and I miss Hannah Bonham Young's books. Again, I read her two previous books, I think in 2023, and I've been meaning to pick up Out on a Limb ever since it released. I've only heard good things about it, and I feel like I'm just really gonna like it. I really liked her other books that I read. Again, I just want to read the things that I'm excited about, and I've been excited about that one for a long time. And then the last one, which actually came to mind first, I'm not really sure why, but that's Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I feel like this definitely had its rounds a few months ago in 2024, and I really don't know anything about it other than like it's a fun fantasy romance kind of time, has some similarities to ACOTAR, but that's all I really know, and that's all I really want to know. Question number 4 is an author you won't be reading from this year. I don't think I backlisted any authors in 2024. I didn't really have any authors that I like hate read from. Like I read Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver and didn't like this nearly as much as I thought I was going to, but I still want to finish the series. I also read, I can't remember when Emily and I started our buddy reads of the series, but we read the Never After novels by Emily McIntyre, and some of those were hit or miss, but I'm not going to backlist her as an author or anything. Like I really want to read her, like the first series that she came out with that the covers are being re-released. I believe it's the Sugar Lake series, and I know that she's working on something new. I don't think there's any author that I'm specifically not reading anything from again, because I mean, even if I hated a book, if it's getting good reviews, I will likely pick it up maybe from the library and see if my opinion changed. Like maybe it was just a one-off book that I didn't like. Question number 5 is something new you want to read this year, either genres or tropes. And I feel like I read a little bit of everything as it is. I definitely want to read more mystery thriller kind of books. I feel like I keep seeing Frida McFadden books everywhere, and I have read one of her books, again, I think in 2023. I'll always say that I like mystery thriller books to people when I ask like what kind of things that I read, but I really don't read that many. So I would like to read a couple of those this year, and I also want to get more back into dark romance. I feel like I read a couple last year, but I would like to change that and read a little bit more. I have enjoyed most of the dark romances that I have read, and they're just fun. And then in terms of tropes, the only one that's really coming to mind is like the accidental pregnancy trope. I don't know why, but I have a few books on my TBR that I have sort of been seeing more often or thinking about recently, specifically Out on a Limb and Ready or Not. I think both involve that trope, and when it's a known aspect of the book ahead of time, I think it can be done really well. If it's kind of just sprinkled in as a third act conflict, I usually don't enjoy it as much. But if it really is part of the actual plot of the book, I think it can be a lot of fun and done really well. Number 6 is a bookish goal for 2025. And I guess I kind of talked about this earlier, but just reading the things that I'm excited about and also trying to be more consistent on my Bookstagram. I love looking at everyone else's, and I just haven't figured out a schedule or content that I want to take myself. So that's something that I definitely want to work on and just try to be a little bit more consistent and have fun with my own page. Number 7, a book that's on my TBR that I probably won't ever read. I feel like there's a reason that I put all of the books on my TBR on Goodreads. At one point or another, I wanted to read them and they seemed interesting to me. So there's not anything that I would say I would never read, but I think the ones that I would be least likely to read are the books in my other room that are my mom's. I've always said ever since I was little and I saw them on the shelves in our front room that, oh, like when I grow up, I'm gonna read all of those books. And 1, that's just not really what's popular anymore. And 2, that's just not really what I am really drawn to. I have been trying to read some of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer books sporadically over the last couple of years. And although I would really like to read more, my mom does have this printout of, I think it's Midnight Sun. Is that the one that's in Edward's point of view from Twilight? She printed it out and put it in a binder like years ago when it was first like released on her website or something, and Twilight was like fresh. Probably that, because it's in a binder and that just seems like way too much effort to read. And although from what I remember, I enjoyed reading Twilight, but it wasn't like my favorite book series ever, and I don't think that I care enough to read anything else. Number 8, a series that you want to read this year. Honestly, so many. The Part of Your World series by Abby Jimenez. Abby Jimenez has been on the top of my TBR since I read her short story of the Improbable Meet Cute series that came out last February, which it was like 50 pages and 5 stars for me. Wild. I would really love to get to Shatter Me this year. I don't know what my holdup is. I think I have it in my head that which I know I've said this before, I want to just read it front to back, the full series, binge the whole thing. And although I know people say that it's very quick to read, it's just so intimidating to me for some reason. Like, isn't it like 8 books or something? But they're YA and they're not super long. And I think there's a bunch of pages that is just like the same word repeated, so it's kind of, you just flip right by them. But I don't know what my holdup is. I have been trying to prioritize this series for at least a year, and I've actually wanted to be reading it even longer than that. I just don't know what my holdup is. I think I just come up with new ideas and there's new books that I want to read and it never fits into TBRs or anything. Number 9 is Auto by Authors for 2025. Obviously, Sarah J. Maas will always be an auto by author for me, though I don't think anything's coming out this year. Also, Jessa Hastings. Very excited for Conditions of Will. I need to pre-order my copy. Other than that, there's not really any authors that I have like an auto buy for because of the space that I have. I'm very conscious that I do not have very much space currently, but I feel like my list of auto buy authors will be a little bit bigger once I eventually have my own space and I can just have a whole wall of bookshelves. But on the top of my list of authors that I want to buy their whole everything from is Elsie Silver. I absolutely loved both the Gold Rush Ranch series and the Chestnut Springs series. I'm very excited to get into the Rose Hill series. I just absolutely love her writing and her banter and her characters and her worlds. They're just like a warm hug to read. I love them so much. Number 10 is book adaptations that you're excited for this year. Honestly, I'm not a book adaptation enthusiast. I am very skeptical when there's an announcement that a book is going to be made into a TV show or a movie, especially if it's something that I love so much, because usually it's done dirty. I know that Emily Henry's People We Meet on Vacation, I believe, is supposed to be coming out this year, and that's really the only one that I'm like hesitantly optimistic about. There's not any others that I know of that are coming out this year. I'm sure there are some, but they're just not on my radar, honestly. I just always want the book exactly as it is to be the adaptation, which I know can never happen because it would be like 6 hours long. I just love my books to be books. And I feel like that's an unpopular opinion, but I'd rather just read about it. Number 11 is a sequel that you're anticipating. And I feel like all of the sequels have just vanished from my mind except for Fearless by Lauren Roberts, which is the 3rd and final full-length book in her Powerless series. I enjoyed the other 3 books in the series that are out. I had a good time with them and I'm very intrigued to see what's going to happen next. I haven't read The Songbirds and the Heart of Stone by Krista Broadbent yet, but I'm pretty sure the next book is coming out this year. I'm excited to get back in the Crowns of Naxia series and read those. Spiral I'm also very excited about, which I think comes out at the end of this month by Val Cabra. I read Collide, really enjoyed it, and I saw a couple of people that got arcs of Spiral and said that it was like the best. So very excited to pick that up and read that one. It's another like hockey romance or like sports romance, college romance vibe. I love those. They're my favorite. Question 12 is bookish things you're leaving in 2024. And for me, the only thing that I'm like personally leaving is being anticipated by big books and like prioritizing quantity over quality. Now, I'm not a DNFer. I'm not saying I'm going to be DNFing left, right, and center, but I want to, like I've been saying this whole video, I want to be prioritizing the books that I'm excited about regardless of how long they are, and not pressure myself to finish my monthly TBRs and like roll books over. If I don't get them done, I don't get them done, and we can pick them again later. Or if I have time in the next month and I want to pick them up just because, then that's great. I'm not going to force myself to read books if I'm not feeling them. Things that should be left in 2024 overall: judging people for what they read. Who cares? If they're reading something and they're enjoying it and they're having a great time and they're not hurting anybody else or themselves, who cares? It doesn't affect you. Just, if you don't like the romance genre or the fantasy romance genre, pick something else. Don't watch people that only read those, because you're not going to get any recommendations. Okay, great. Glad we had that chat. Like, just read what makes you happy and let everyone else do the same. The world is too much in shambles to put so much hate into the world. Okay, number 13, what to expect from this account. More of the same, I guess. I love doing the TBR videos. I'm excited to continue those this year. I feel like sometimes the prompt jar can get a little bit old, but I have so much fun doing it, so it's definitely sticking around. And this year I also want to, well, I've already been trying to get more organized again and get back on a schedule and actually plan some videos ahead in hopes to do more reading vlogs, better reading vlogs, and I'm just hoping to grow. Question number 14 is, how has your reading taste evolved over the past year? And 2024 was kind of a blah year for me, and I think it was kind of a blah year for a lot of people. So I definitely didn't read things I was excited about, and even if I was excited about them, I didn't enjoy them as much as expected. I feel like I've gotten a bit more, not necessarily critical, but I think I've been able to learn how to pick out things more specifically that I don't like in books, or even specifics that I do like. I can pull those out a little bit clearer, and I also use half-star ratings now. So I guess that doesn't really answer the question about my reading taste. I read very similar things. I like a book that's going to make you feel something, and apparently character studies now, like Magnolia Parks. Love those books. I'm very much a character study. And the last question, question 15, is booktubers that inspire you. There's quite a few. Obviously, bestie Emily, love her to pieces. Emmy Rosam, I love her videos as well. Ellen Catherine, Ella Rose Reads. I think those are the people that I have been gravitating towards more recently. But I feel like I have yapped long enough. Those are all of the questions that I pulled. Feel free to answer any of the questions down in the comments. I would love to chat with you, hear your answers, maybe find some more booktubers to watch. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like so that I know. I hope that you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!